You're listening to Sit, Talk, and Listen podcast with your hosts, Payroll Rob and Zadie Bauer.
Yes. We are here. It is Sit, Talk, Listen, episode 30, I guess, kind of, sort of. Yeah, because last episode was the special edition. Today is February 13th, 2025. You guys got a little treat last episode. It was ode to Bob. Ode to me, I guess.
Are you still not Are you not counting that as a?
Well, it counts.
Episode,
I saved it as 29. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is 30.
Welcome back.
30. Welcome back to the OG lineup of the Sit, Talk, and Listen. That's just us two.
Sorry.
I know it's not as exciting, and I don't want nobody to have the worst day of their jobs, but This is what you get.
It was a well-received one, and overall, we had a fun time doing it. Of course, we wish it would have been a four-man, but
I dropped the ball on that one.
I mean, it's your bachelor party, but yes.
I was majorly looking forward to chopping it up with you fellas. So I'm a little ashamed, mad at myself. I missed it, but I'm glad you guys did it. I enjoyed listening to it myself. I thought it was funny hearing a lot of the stories, reminiscing. A lot of people don't get to have their lives summed up by their friends before they die. So it was nice to hear some good things about me before I die. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, in a kind of eerie way, and maybe I do remember LeBron passing Kobe in the all-time points, like the day before he died, and like basically gave a eulogy to Kobe before he died.
Right.
And then
is that what you guys were thinking? Maybe I wouldn't.
No, but we were thinking about weekend at Bernie's in your ass.
Yeah.
Down here for the pod.
I think that would have been something. Would it have turned out better? Worse? Same? I don't know. Probably worse, honestly. I enjoyed the candor, the honesty I got from all you guys. That was good. I hope the listening audience enjoyed that as much as I did. So that was cool. So appreciate that, fellas.
Last real quick thing before we move on.
Yeah,
errors and omissions, and this will be falling under the omission umbrella. It was, Brant brought to my attention. He wanted me to one last story.
Oh, a little extra.
Yeah,
all about
and
it.
This was one of Brant's all-time faves, Bob stories. I think his favorite. He was present during it, so this makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's also one that I like. It was a pretty funny moment, and Brant, and I were walking home. Or walking somewhere with David Zellers.
Oh, yes.
And we got to the parking lot across from Bevo Mill.
We were coming home from Jackie's. We were hanging out at Jaquita's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sure enough. We were walking back somewhere, I guess to the crib, your crib maybe.
Well, you had made some your mom jokes to David, which was
but let's
really
be honest. Why was I making the jokes?
Well, we kept encouraging you to.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, but what I was saying is, David then was like, "Do you want to fight?" And you said, "Well, when? Because I have an appointment." This is so true, right?
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
You said, "Well, when? Because I have an appointment with your mom tonight, and I have one with your sister tomorrow."
Ooh, get him!
And then that immediately invoked physical violence from David, if I recall correctly.
He saw red. David was ready.
And there was some parked trucks in the semi trucks, trailers.
There was one truck without a trailer in this parking lot.
And Dave tried to pin you against it, correct? I mean,
at some point we were just scuffling around, and then at some point we got close, or up against the truck or whatever. But it was just a lot of throwing each other back and forth. I don't know that there was any true punches really thrown.
I remember your shoe coming off, and David taking said shoe and chucking it onto the roof of a local establishment. Building.
That
did happen.
I don't know, because I don't remember not
Brant
having
comment
shoes
on that. But yeah,
I don't remember not having shoes though, so I don't know.
Well, my mom came and picked us up.
Okay.
David was going to his cousin's. I mean, again, this is all being retold 20 years later.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I remember it's pretty well, but I don't remember being without shoes.
Who won the fight? You got David.
I feel like he just tossed my shoe in a direction, and I went and grabbed him.
He threw it up on something.
I don't know, dude. I don't remember not having shoes.
I feel like Bray and I were kind of playing devil's advocate that day, too. Like,
yeah,
we wanted the fight, but then, like, David is mad afterwards, and we're like, I'll throw his shoe up there.
I just don't know, because I feel like I'd have gotten my ass kicked at home for losing the shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I don't remember that being a thing of that. So
you didn't come to baseball practice the next day.
What?
I remember that.
I don't remember that either.
But that was when we were playing with Mary Magdalene, right? Didn't we
Kind of been in 8th grade?
That's when that timeline checks out.
I suppose I played baseball that year.
Anything we said last week that you want to combat, or you're fine basically?
No, I'm sure there's some little details that are, a little foggy, a little hazy from memory for everybody. But that's okay. We'll leave them as is. It's part of the lore, part of the mystery.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of always been my MO, is I'm a story maker. I want to make sure. Sometimes I'll push the line a little too far in order to give people a memorable little story.
Was the Cavalier Experience, that story was accurate, correct?
It wasn't a Cavalier Experience. It was introduction to the homeroom class, like first day of school.
Oh, but still.
Yeah, there was still a more man than you'll ever be said, but it was like, it wasn't said as like a bravado. It was literally said as a joke of like, let's make a joke of how I say my last name. And obviously it stuck. It worked, people remembered the little nomenclature. So bada boom, bada bing. Sometimes it's hard having this level of greatness.
All right, and he stomped all over it. One night's work down the drain. But since that night, there has been a Super Bowl played.
Super Bowl 59 between Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. What a boring game. But I'm glad it played out the way it did. Thoughts?
I foolishly had my money on Kansas City because I thought, well, everybody was telling me it was rigged, that those people are all full now from all the crow they had to eat.
The game is rigged. They're going to let Kansas City win it. And Travis is going to propose to Taylor Swift after the game.
So as I look foolish, I don't look as foolish as everybody that was so convinced the Chiefs had the game rigged.
Yeah. I mean, but, look, you going into that game, history tells you, Chiefs have every best chance of winning it. They'd been winning everything up to that point, and it at least had been close, right? So I think that it was a surprise to everybody that the game played out the way it did. Philly had a 24-0 lead at halftime.
Ooh,
yeah,
boring.
It was not super exciting, but again, I was just glad to see Kansas City lose. So I was okay with a boring game. But that boring game had me, interested. Like, what were some other boring championship games, blowout championships? I don't know if any come to your mind.
Immediately, Seahawks, Broncos.
Yeah.
That 2014?
Was that the Peyton Manning win?
Well, he lost. The opening game.
Yeah. That was the one
goes behind Peyton's head in the end zone, safety in the Seahawks.
We got ham-boned that game. We drank a shit ton.
Yeah, I don't remember most of it.
What was the halftime? Was that Black Eyed Peas year?
Blackout Peas.
Woo-hoo!
True though. I really don't remember much of that game because it was bad. That game and the Niners-Ravens game, I remember we had the Kraken rum. I don't know if you were there or not.
The Kraken spiced rum.
But we were just gonna do a shot of the Kraken rum.
Yes.
For every score. But then, do you remember the electricity went out in the building?
Yeah.
So there was like a 30-minute delay during the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember anything after that.
The lights went out, and so did my consciousness.
All I remember is the next day, Grant showing me a video of me getting back home and just smoking a cigarette in the apartment. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I didn't care. I just did the Ray Lewis dance with a cigarette in my mouth and mocked Colin Kaepernick kissing his bicep. And I wish I could see that video now. But
if only you could see me now.
But yeah, because recently I learned that game finished like pretty close, and in my mind, all these years it was just a blowout.
That game sucked. No, I think that was a good game.
But I mean, that represents our college year as well. Just the Super Bowls where we were just blackout.
Right. So as far as Super Bowls go for the largest blowout, there was the Redskins versus the Bears in 1940.
We're gonna have to bleep that out.
They were the Redskins.
The artist.
So we're gonna go ahead and just
they
call
were the
them the Redskins. The Redskins. You want to take a guess on the final score of that game?
37-3.
The final score of the NFL championship game in 1940 was Chicago Bears 73, Redskins 0.
Well, that's not a Super Bowl.
It was an NFL championship game.
Yeah,
but it counts. It's not a Super Bowl. I was just talking about the biggest blowout victories and championships. And then we can also talk about Tiger Woods in 2000 when he won the U.S. Open by 15 shots.
Now that's the one I'm here for. There will never be a Tiger Woods.
Of what do you mean? Any sport you're going to say?
Well,
there's never
Michael
gonna be
Phelps came pretty close, but
pretty dominant. Usain Bolt at his time, pretty dominant.
But like not everybody, like swimming hasn't grown exponentially because of Michael Phelps. I want to say track became this like, TV juggernaut.
Yeah,
I mean, Tiger Woods,
it changed the game.
Put asses in seats, even though there's no seats.
Even though there's no seats,
he put feet on grass, is what he did, and he did put asses in seats to sit down and watch hours of golf.
Yep. Yeah,
it was Tiger Woods versus the field. And I don't know how we got here. Oh, championship blowouts.
Yeah, we're just talking about the blowouts.
Game 7 of the 2019 Stanley Cup. Sorry, Boston. I was wide awake.
You have the 49ers beating the Broncos in 1990 Super Bowl 55-10. The Bears hold the Patriots to 6 yards on the ground rushing in 1986 to cap off the Bears' season that year.
They had the whole dance, the Super Bowl Shuffle. Video filmed 7 weeks before the big game, as a matter of fact. And Chicago rode it out to the championship. So
what do you like that bold strategy? Could you imagine a team doing that now? Like,
jinxes aren't real, is what I'm learning.
Yeah. I mean, it only is a jinx when you lose and people say, oh, you jinxed yourself. Could you imagine if Kansas City had come out with a commercial called the Super Bowl Shuffle? Like,
pretty easily, because Kansas City's in every other freaking commercial. Andy Reid's fat ass shoving nuggies in his mouth. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I've seen Travis Kelce more in State Farm commercials than I did with the ball in his hands during the Super Bowl.
Booyah.
Bum.
That's like everybody saying how Kendrick got more yards in his halftime performance than the Chiefs did.
Mixed reviews on that halftime show.
Yeah, so I guess let's talk about it. Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny, K-Dot, whatever you'd like to call him, Kendrick Lamar.
Kung Fu Kenny now.
True. Halftime, Kung Fu. So the ratings were in, and the ratings show that it was the most watched Super Bowl halftime of all time. Well, only being above Michael Jackson's Super Bowl halftime show.
Only being above Michael Jackson's, wouldn't it be above every?
Well, sorry, but I mean only barely beating out Michael Jackson's. Okay. It beat the other ones by a decent little clip, I guess. Look, so I guess my reaction to it is I enjoyed the performance, but the difference is I'm a Kendrick fan. I enjoyed his music long before this year, so I was probably predisposed to enjoy his performance regardless. I was surprised, sort of, that he played his Not Like Us, but at the same time, that's what everybody wanted to see. I was also surprised that he focused as much on his newer stuff and didn't really do much of his old catalog at all. Probably only did a couple real songs that were even a few years old. Nothing much older than that. But I also wasn't really surprised with people's reactions. As soon as he was announced as being the guy doing this halftime, I kind of already assumed, well, there's going to be a lot of angry whites. Just say, this is the worst halftime show ever. I don't even know a word he's saying.
I did hear a lot of that at work, the whispers, and even from whites my age and younger and older. They were saying, how do you even understand that guy, man? I have a lot easier time listening to way harder to understand.
Yeah. If you listen to metal and you're like, this is great, and you're gonna tell me that you can't understand what a rapper's saying, you're lying. You're
like
not
him
trying.
or dislike him, Kendrick. I mean, it's not hard to understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I agree. People just use it like that's just an excuse.
But as a Kendrick fan, I wish. I mean, we couldn't even hear. If Pyros and Crips.
Right.
Oh, God. I mean, come on. That's a banger.
Yeah.
And we had to hear these, like...
We gonna be all right? King Kunta. Like, I don't know. He had so many other hits, but it kind of just felt like he was...
He so focused on Drake. I mean, Drake lives in his head rent-free, it seems.
I don't know. I had a hard time trying to decide if it's like... Is it Kendrick's decision to focus so much on the new stuff, or is it like he's doing that because he knows that's what people are focused on?
So much of the Super Bowl was still focused on Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Serena out there, says two girls that Drake's formerly been with, which, again, you know I'm a huge Kendrick fan, but at the same time, it's just the rivalry is getting a little off-putting to me because it's like, are you winning the rivalry when you're the one so, like, if there was a breakup and the one person in the breakup can't stop talking about the other person,
they kind
of almost like obsessed, right? Like, it seems like that's where, and I feel like Kendrick is above that. Like, he's just made his whole persona like Drake's rival, where he's so much of a better artist than that, and that's what he's kind of boiled himself down to. Yeah. He was even wearing the lowercase a chain to reference A minor, and it's like, dude.
I think he's just kind of playing up to it because of how popular it got.
I understand.
So I think he's
above that. Like,
yeah, but he's also not in the sense of he's an artist and he's going to do what's hot when it's hot, and that's what's popular right now.
But is he, though? Because To Pimp a Butterfly wasn't necessarily, like, commercially radio. I mean, he had, obviously King Kunta and all that shit on it, but Kendrick's never really played to what the crowd wants. And,
but he's never had a single go off as much as this one did. That one did. So it's hard to say of like, is it his choice or is it his whole team being like, look, we got to play into this as much as we can. Like, this is big money, big eyes. I don't know. Tough to say.
Do you think the old whites would have preferred if you heard, a milli?
No, I think they'd have been equally as upset with that if Wayne was the one to get the halftime. But I think if Wayne's halftime show would have been more, more theatrics, he'd have had more, diverse dancers and more diverse visuals, and people have been like, okay, well, at least this is like, I can understand what's happening here. I'm seeing, booty shaking dancers and a bunch of lights and pyrotechnics and flash, confetti. Like, if it was Wayne's performance, it'd have been more of a party and people would have been like, well, that was entertaining. But everybody just looked at Kendrick's and they're like, that was boring, because they had to really pay it. There was a lot of stuff that was like, if you didn't know, you definitely wouldn't know, right? Like, little details, I guess.
I mean, obviously it passed Michael Jackson's viewing, but it's also a lot easier to access the halftime show. Because I don't know, like, I'm trying to think off, like, if you cover genders, race, and age, if there will be a more well-liked artist at the time, and then there was of Michael Jackson, who obviously had the white and black audience, male, female, and kind of a, I'd say probably like at the time, teenagers to 40s, 50s.
Oh yeah, he was popular across a lot of different.
There is nobody out there right now that will do that.
No, that crosses all those.
Right?
Genre walls. No, I'm thinking, not really. No, I wouldn't. Nobody that comes to mind easily, at least, not to the top of my mind.
I mean, Taylor Swift got booed at the Super Bowl, and she's probably the most popular artist in that.
Yeah, but reminded me of the scene from Waiting. What the fuck did I do? She's
let me tell you, Taylor. I'll tell you exactly.
Let her have it.
I'm not going to let her have it. I'm just trying to let her know.
Let her know why she got booed.
There's just an oversaturation factor, I feel like, in America or with anything. We do not like things shoved down our face. Anything.
That's right.
And again, Taylor seems great. Even then, I've seen clips of Taylor handing out $100 bills to just the staff at the Super Bowl. Like, it does seem, that she...
Thank you. Get you something nice.
Yeah, and I don't think she does that for the cameras. I really don't. But... dude, we're tired of it. We're tired of this whole. It's been a 2-year Eras tour. Like I know you have your Swifties, but the rest of America, you're tied in with the Chiefs, who the rest of America's tired of. And don't be surprised you got booed because it's just we've had take a hiatus. Bless you 2 times. Bless you 3 times, and a Ric Flair. Hit me. Hey. But yeah, I just think that's it.
I think it's okay. Look, Taylor, you're gonna get booed sometimes in life. It's all right. Shake it off, girl. Shake it off.
Punny,
honey.
Was that pun intended?
What?
Shake it off.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so I guess my thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show. It is an artist that is responsible for my favorite album of all time. He didn't play a single song off that, nor did I really expect him to.
Yeah,
I really thought he was just going to go out there and play all 5 Drake disses.
Just hit him with what they want.
That's what, I thought. But what would have been the best, if he's really about getting views and like you said, he's an entertainer, you bring Drake out there. And if you want the internet to break, you bring Drake out there. Maybe think that you're rekindling it. You tell him, Drake, let's squash this beef. You don't perform, not like us, right? At first, you have Drake out there. You perform poetic justice with him, and then you say, "Oh."
You said, "Wait a minute, though."
You thought this was done? Now that is how you entertain the millions, dude. And Drake, because Drake wasn't even watching the Super Bowl. He was
in Australia, other side of the world.
Yeah. If you wanted to entertain us all, if even the Drake fans would have been like, "What the fuck?
What's happening?" Yeah, that'd have been interesting.
And that's look, and you say wrestling stupid. That's a wrestling script for you. It's called the bait and switch. You bait,
the old bait and switch,
and then you switch.
Oh.
You get Drake to think you're squashing the beef. You perform a song with him at halftime. And Drake's ego's going crazy. He's like, yes, millions of people watching me. And then Kendrick says, oh, wait a minute. We forgot one song. Can you admit that would have been the best?
Yeah, that'd have been great. I don't know. It would have taken a lot to probably convince Drake to come out there.
It wouldn't have taken that much.
Little greenbacks.
Yeah, and I will publicly apologize for calling you a pedophile.
He said, I'm going to pull my pants down. I'm going to need you to kiss it like Al Sharpton.
Dude, yeah, but that would have been all time. They might not even play the second half of that game at that rate. What could top that?
That'd be interesting. Yeah, everybody. Well, Jim, it seems like both teams are refusing to come back out on the field. They just can't believe what took place here at halftime.
Yeah. Well, the Chiefs didn't play.
No, they didn't show up for the first half.
Case, Eagles might not have played either. But in this case, the Chiefs did not show up. And
Chiefs.
Nobody told them when the game started. Rumor has it they're still around there.
Waiting for kickoff.
Eating their little stupid-ass nuggies. Ooh, give me that little nuggie. Somebody ought to just punch Andy Reid around his stupid fucking walrus head. I want there to be a rule. I think that they should make a rule that any advertising is not allowed to try to use modern slang because just no. Don't sell something to me trying to sound cool and hip and young. Well, it's not cool for a 30-year-old or in his case, 67-year-old to say nuggies.
Yeah, but he got paid a lot of money to be in the commercial, and somebody wrote that commercial, and it passed a lot of levels of marketing agents, and they're like, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's use this young, cool, hip lingo of nuggies. No. Fucking stop. I don't want it, and I don't want to buy your fucking nuggies.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
What?
That commercial.
The nuggies one?
Yeah.
I think so,
Andy Reid slides his little fucking fat sausage fingers over, and it's just like making a mockery of himself.
How much do you think he got paid for that commercial?
They probably just paid him in nuggies, dude. They probably paid him in fucking cheeseburgers and nuggets.
He said, you know how much I got paid for that commercial? $2 million. That's my quote. So if I get another commercial, I get another $2 million, even if it's bad.
Is that Tim Robinson, correct?
Yeah. Shouts out to Santa Claus playing Crashmore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Season 2 is probably the best, but it's just now becoming on my radar.
What is?
Like, I only watched that, like, probably 2 times through, where I've seen both other seasons, like, dozens.
Season 3's got some good ones, but season 2 of I
We're
Think
talking
You Should
about
Leave.
I Think You Should Leave. Sorry.
It's
We're
okay.
all over the place.
The real ones will know what we're talking about.
But back to the Super Bowl, because I want to give it a proper wrap-up.
Yeah, okay.
You know, this whole dynasty talk, dynasty not, we're so obsessed in this current age of, are they better than the Patriots? No, now he will never be Tom Brady. And it's just, not everything has to be compared immediately to something else. I know we live in this day and age where that's what we want to do.
People want comparisons. They don't want to have to learn something new. They want to compare it to something they already know.
Because, yes, while I don't think the Patriots were ever quite embarrassed like that, you know, Tom won his first 3 relatively soon, and then there was a pretty long break, and then
we'll give it a gap.
So, not to say the Chiefs are going to do that, but it's like we're just so quick to say that the Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom. Oh, and now it's like I can't believe we even thought Patrick Mahomes could be in the same building as Tom.
Yeah, I mean, look, storylines aren't going to write themselves. People got to talk. People got to come up with their stories to keep the dollars coming in. So,
but has society always been like that? Have we always, instead of living in the moment, compared it to something that we already saw?
I think we do more comparison now because people have an easier time looking up past things, and so comparisons are easier to do these days. But I do think that we've always tried to sensationalize stuff. You know, as long as newspapers have been out and news cycles, I think there's always been a history of sensationalizing things.
Well, then here's my headline, just to fit in with today's society.
Headline:
Forget the Chiefs.
Forget the Chiefs.
Forget the Patriots.
Forget the Patriots.
There was one team
that
beat both teams.
And
that was? Go ahead.
The New York Nobodies.
It was the Eagles.
The Eagles won.
The Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles.
We're
going to
need to condense that headline a little bit.
And then the Eagles beat the Chiefs. I don't think there's any arguing that the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team of all time. We will never see anything like it.
Eagles fly. Best team of all time?
Yep.
That's what the storyline is. That's what the headline should be saying.
That's
the headline.
They are the only team.
Philadelphia Eagles, best team of all time? Question mark.
If you beat 2 dynasties, then you are the ultimate dynasty.
Yep. And Jalen Hurts is the new Patrick Mahomes.
No, he's just the Patrick Mahomes is the old Jalen Hurts. Tom Brady is the old Jalen Hurts. We've never seen anything like this.
We've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. So for now on, in this reactionary world, I want to fit in. I want the people to say, hey, Nick, I want to talk with you about sports. So I'm going to talk with the people. Reactionary world, Eagles.
Greatest all time.
I mean, their guys are reading books. They're so bored of winning. They're reading books.
For goodness sake. No, it's true, though.
So,
what do you? I still think that was a whole ploy on A.J. Brown just trying to cover up his dissatisfaction. You know, he was dissatisfied.
Yeah, he's leaning into it.
Oh, I'm gonna read this book situation, and now it's like, oh, he always reads books. He always reads books.
I feel like if it was the case, then that would have been covered before. Is A.J. Brown reading a book on the sidelines? I mean, any other time, Marshawn's eating Skittles. Like,
we're there to talk about it.
There's cameras there. There will be a camera that picks that up. There's 150, 200 cameras in there at least.
Quite a bit. I don't know how many. I didn't count.
But somebody's seeing A.J. Brown do that. If that was the first time he'd done it, there's no way. It's just. Yeah. But hey, he is the best receiver on the best team of all time.
Yeah. So by default, best receiver all time.
A.J. Brown or Jerry Rice.
That's the questions people are going to be asking themselves.
Need to.
I think, give it a few weeks and people will really digest what they saw this year. And then that's probably what we'll be hearing, So go Eagles, I guess.
No.
Do you see any videos of those classy fans in Philadelphia celebrating?
unalived themselves falling off a pole?
Oh, probably a few. But they grease them up there. They grease them up, and they still have to tell people not to climb on them, but they still do.
Intelligence reached a peak in Philadelphia in the 16th century, maybe 17th, and since then it has been quite a rapid decline.
Just heading towards the bottom. How many Phillies babies will be born in 9 months from now?
Eagles?
I said Phillies, baby. Like, Philadelphia babies.
Well, I mean, you can see the confusion.
Yeah, but
too many. Too many.
We need to. These babies need to grow up in a better environment. Let's get them out of there.
I got that is just one dumb city.
The city of brotherly love. A little bit too much brotherly love, if you ask me. Sometimes seems questionable.
I mean, their famous play. They just, never mind.
The old tush push.
Don't call it that. It's the brotherly shove, dude. The brotherly shove, okay? Dude.
So sorry.
It's not the tush push. I mean, come on. I mean, they're just New York and Boston's little cousin that comes over on Thanksgiving and wants to sit and you hand him the controller.
Hey guys, we're here to play. I'm going to be really good this year. I've been practicing a lot.
It's like, gosh, dude, they're number one fucking what is it? Landmark? What is it?
The Bell. The old Liberty
Bell. They can't
Bell.
even keep that thing intact. Big crack in it, dude.
Yeah, just like their heads. A bunch of all the Philadelphia folks right in the skull. Big old crack down
Philly, dude. I don't even want to eat cream cheese anymore. I'm so sick of that stupid ass fucking
Do you think that
city.
was the demise of the Chiefs? Do you think too many of their fans brought dips to their Super Bowl parties that were made using Philadelphia cream cheese?
Well, I do think Mahomes' egg all over his face. He could eat a fucking omelet and a half with the
egg on his face.
The eagle green suit that he was rocking, and
I didn't see
Travis's haircut. You're in Kansas City, dude, and you've always had a buzz fade, and then now what? You're fucking Hollywood now. I mean, did you see it? Who does he think he is?
The
Kelce's are
who does
so
he think he is?
insufferable.
I'm gonna
Jason
have to-
Kelce crying.
We're gonna get producer Tony on Travis Kelce's haircut. I don't know. What did he do? He's got the flow now. Is that
Look at it. Look at his stupid hair. It's just not
hair.
Travis Kelce. He's trying to be something he's not. That is the Kelce's MO. They're egomaniacs. They are egomaniacs. They cannot stand attention not being on them.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, he's got that high
I'm getting
fade.
ramped up. I didn't think
That's all right. We're gonna go in on these lame ass Chiefs though.
Eagles, Chiefs, dude. I mean, gosh. That's
Yeah, he's always been the buzz boy.
Did you see the Super Bowl haircut? He had he was going all Hollywood on us. Try to
Looks
get one
like
of these.
Anthony Kiedis, dude, from fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He's always been he's been a buzz cut boy, but and as much as these Swifties will hate to admit, Travis is using her, and he's got to play the part. He's memorizing his script.
Yeah, I mean, I see his hair. I don't know. It's fine.
What?
His hair is fine. I mean,
It's not him.
He grew it out, sure.
It's not him at all.
That's why he didn't do shit in the Super Bowl. He couldn't see anything. He was sweating all in his eyeballs.
I don't think you're even looking at the right haircut.
He's got this suit on like he's an 80s cocaine dealer. Is this?
No, I mean, he had dude, I'm telling you.
What?
And then Jason Kelce crying afterwards, you don't know how hard it was. I was between a rock and a hard place. And shut up.
Nah,
Shut
I missed that.
up.
That's some lame shit for sure. That's some
All
lame
of them.
shit. Yeah, I'm over the Kelce brothers. Have been for a while.
If Elon wants to fucking start a population on Mars, start with them. Get Kylie, the whole gang, ship them up there. I'm
Ship
sick
them up
of
there.
Sick of them.
But dude, the problem is if he ships them up there, we'll have to hear from them all the time. They'll be checking in from Mars.
Taylor's being used.
New Heights podcast live from Mars.
No, I cannot wait for the inevitable breakup. And
the
New
album?
New Heights is gonna have to change their fucking name. The
New
Swifties-
Lows?
Something like that. It's not as creative as I was looking for, but
I'll
it's a
keep
good
trying.
starting point. Yeah, thanks.
The depths of despair.
Brendan's not going to like this segment. He's a big Kelsey guy.
That's all right.
But, you know.
The show's not just for Brendan. It's for everybody. And Brendan.
It was just my intrusive thoughts thinking, like, Brendan doesn't like when I go on these Kelsey rants, so.
Well, sometimes when you act the way that he acts, you get some rants coming your way. You know, the dude changed up. He used to date strippers, and now he dates Taylor Swift.
Was that a stripper that he used to date?
I might be stepping out of line.
Yeah, that
exotic dancer.
we need to look this up because that
was maybe just like a backup dancer.
Well, and that came into play too. Speaking of them, did you see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? He said,
I don't know that person.
He is a safety for the Eagles. Pretty good player, loudmouth. And he said after the game that Travis should have stuck with the thick woman.
Ooh. The thick woman.
Kind of dissing Taylor Swift, right? By saying
she's
that.
a little bit of a beanstalk.
Are you looking up Travis's ex?
Yeah, this Kayla Nicole.
Yes. So, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson insinuated that he should have stuck with the thick woman, who was this Kayla Nicole.
Yeah.
And the Swifties did not like that. They did some digging and found that his mother, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's mother, has a restaurant, and they went on there and just completely tore the reviews to shreds.
That's not great.
And which sucks because she was just a casualty of war by all accounts. Like, she's a pretty good member of society, it seems. Like, she's done a lot of charitable things through her restaurant and things of that nature. And these Swifties want to know part of it.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks that there was a casualty of war there. But, I mean, I don't know what you thought you were getting with shaking that wasp's nest.
Yeah, you piss off them Swifties, you're gonna have some sort of craziness heading your way. I mean, there's some, articles done the last handful of days talking about this girl. Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend posts lengthy message after attending Super Bowl.
I don't know much about her, but she is attractive.
She's hot. Hell yeah.
But I don't think she's a stripper. I don't. That was kind of out of bounds.
Well, she's a host, a reporter, and a content creator.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
Maybe that was just in my mind. I just wanted her to be. I don't know, brother. You hear things, people talk. Everybody talks.
Let it be known that the thoughts and comments from my co-host do not reflect my opinion or thoughts.
Look, if you're a content creator, you could be anything you want. So, yeah. I apologize for getting it wrong. She's a great person.
I'm not saying that.
Neither am I.
I just don't know if we can just insinuate things.
Well, that's what we do in the show because we're idiots.
But,
and we just gotta throw shit out there and hope it sticks.
But anywho, that's a Super Bowl in a nutshell. I went on my
Super Bowl in a nutshell. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. Boring game. Chiefs lost. See you next year.
But while we're on it, and I know, we don't want to promote addiction or anything that can be addictive.
We're not here to promote addiction.
That being said, one of the, gambling is taking over this country for better or worse.
Yes.
And what made that game electric towards the end is, I was watching with Brant. The game's a wash, right? But he needed DeAndre Hopkins to get a second catch to $300 swing.
Keeping it interesting.
And going into that last drive, I think there's like a minute left on the clock, and D-Hop caught that touchdown. And so nobody else hit
it. And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, so I just thought it was kind of, it's just...
Gambling is what keeps people interested.
It can definitely make an unentertaining game more entertaining.
Yeah. That's what, a lot of people argue for gambling for that reason, is it, right? It keeps an excitement level up on a game that is otherwise uninteresting. And it's like, I can appreciate that. It keeps interest in the game for the whole thing. So that's good. But I think there's a lot of negatives to gambling.
As there is with a lot of other things that are legal, and it just goes back to having self-control. Like, you got to know yourself. You can't let anything get too, nobody's going to have a problem with if you want a beer every night at dinner. That's not a problem. But if that starts turning into 7 beers every night, you got to take a hard look in the mirror.
Yep. Yeah. And that's that fine line that's like tough to know where to draw it to, like, where do you protect people from themselves or where do you allow them to have that free will? It's, that's been the age-old question. I mean, as long back as societies have gone, there's always been, like, where do we draw the line on what rules we make on how people live their lives? So it's tough to say. So go ahead and get your gambling in now, because who knows where it'll be 25, 30 years from now.
Yeah, and I do know that it's like there is a lot of people that are like, you can't go anywhere without seeing DraftKings, Underdog, one of those things. But, I mean, you could say the same thing about Anheuser, Miller. I mean, we know some of these names better than we know our own grandparents. I mean,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like, if you're going to be negative towards one, I think you just got to be negative towards all.
Well, we limit cigarette companies' advertising ability. So.
I was going to say that. Where do you stand on all this?
And wow, big question.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on all of this?
Well,
Let's
this is
break that
a podcast,
down. Where is
yeah.
all this? What is all this? Are we talking about gambling? Are we talking about gambling advertising?
Advertising. And not just gambling. Do you think advertising should be, if you're going to ban gambling advertisement, should you do the same thing for anything else?
All
that
vices?
be addictive. Yes.
Yeah. This is a toughy question.
Like Doritos. There's no
slippery
nutritional
slope,
benefits to Doritos, yet they promote it and they want you to buy their product. It's probably one of the most advertised things in this country, right?
Doritos?
Yeah, Doritos always has a huge Super Bowl commercial.
I don't even remember seeing a Doritos commercial this year.
There was.
I think soda companies advertise more often than chips these days. And then beer, mostly Anheuser.
McDonald's.
Coors. You saw the Coors one with their little buddies or whatever. What was that one? I don't know. There was a Coors commercial in this year's Super Bowl. Said something about Case of the Mondays. That's what it was. It was all the sloths. Sloths? That's a fun word. You remember that one? No? Am I crazy?
No, dude. Well, also where I was watching, it was just, there's a lot of kids present, so sometimes it got to be a little hard to see, and, we're all looking at our phones and following, like, our bets and stuff, so you get a little distracted from the whole production.
You didn't watch the commercials.
Not that close to this year, but I hear I didn't miss a lot.
I haven't been in. You missed the Yeezy commercial, dude.
No, I didn't, but I was going to bring that up. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up because. Wow.
So then maybe that's something what we talk about. Like, we're going to limit advertising. Maybe we should limit advertising when you're directing people to your website to buy Nazi shirts.
That's the only thing that's on that site.
Yeah. Interesting choice. Interesting choice.
They didn't do a lot of background on that before they just let it air to the biggest audience of the year.
Yeah. Well, that's, kind of how it goes. Money talks. You get to go ahead and, if you're going to pay your millions of dollars for that at airtime, you get to do whatever you want with it.
As we've kind of illustrated already, so Kanye West. Kanye. I have heard some new rumblings that's not even Kanye West. That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. I feel like that's the common conspiracy for anybody when they start acting
just
outside of
looks
their
and stuff like that,
There's a lot of... Okay, good note. Continue.
But anyways.
It's not even Kanye. Just like Donald Trump was replaced, too, with fake Donald Trump.
Well, what if we go on with... Anyways. Kanye goes on a Twitter rant a couple days prior to the Super Bowl, talking about how cool Hitler was, and amongst a lot of other anti-Semitic.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at generally that he's saying a bunch of
fast forward
Semitic shit
to Super Bowl, and whose face appears via looks like an iPhone recording.
Oh, he lets us know it was shot on his iPhone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Apple's probably like, Kanye, you didn't have to say what type of phone it was.
Yeah. And Kanye gets on there and basically just says, go to Yeezus.com, Yeezy.com, whatever it is.
I spent all my money on getting my teeth done, so I'm shooting this commercial, and this is after he's doing a yeah. So I'm shooting this commercial with my iPhone. And you're like, damn.
And he says to go to his website, and then if you did go to his website,
if you were so inclined to listen to him, you were greeted by the option to purchase a swastika T-shirt. Just a classic. It was like a white T-shirt with a black logo. Nothing else.
Tough look.
I want to know, did he get any orders? That's what I'm curious of.
Oh, 1,000% he got orders.
So somebody can say, I bought this shirt off of Yeezy.com during the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know. That was a choice, I guess. I don't know what Kanye's trying to prove right now.
Well, I do, but we're not going to get too far into it because,
you know what he's trying to prove right now?
Yeah, but it just, there's nothing you can say. There was millions of innocent people killed, so if there has ever been a person that wronged you who happened to be Jewish, I don't think that,
it doesn't make
it doesn't make it right to promote the prosecution,
the genocide.
Yeah,
attempted genocide.
And that's where we stand. We're an anti-genocide, I think, podcast.
I'm pretty sure we're safe to say that we are anti-genocide here. Yeah, I think it's official. We can say it.
We're officially anti-genocide.
We're taking a stance. It's really hard.
No, it's not very hard. It's not really hard. Again, my co-host thoughts are not a reflection of my own. But we can both say proudly.
We firmly agree anti-genocide. Yeah. So what Kanye's trying to do here, I don't really know. I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah, me too. But that was long ago.
That's crazy to think about. I think I just heard it was like a few days ago was the anniversary of College Dropout.
21 years ago?
Yeah, 2004. What a time. It was polos and backpacks, dude.
You can't quote him anymore either.
He's going to release some new stuff, dude.
Everybody's either anti-Semitic, pedophile.
Those are the big buzzwords right now.
And again, this will be another episode that we would get taken down if our sponsor. You can't say pedophile.
You can't say pedophile?
You cannot. It gets
but
flagged.
What if you're talking about
pedophiles? It gets
pedophiles?
Flagged very quickly. You can't. You have to say pedobeep.
Oh, well, I'll just leave it up to the audience to censor it for themselves.
We will. Yeah. So we'll see. So
moving on past pedophiles, what else we got? We got Valentine's Day this week. It's tomorrow. Valentine's Day.
Let me be the first to wish you, Bob, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's nice. I expect a text at midnight instead, though, so that doesn't count.
And if anybody can think of anything else tomorrow besides Valentine's Day, you are a superstar because there is no other notable things.
Nope. Nothing else of note happening tomorrow.
Except for love. My brother and his girlfriend they're going to Branson to celebrate their love.
Dang. Taking a whole little trippity trip to Branson.
Got it like that, boy. He got it like that.
I guess. So I pulled up some facts about Valentine's Day and spending.
Ooh.
So the 2025 is projected to be the highest record numbers of money,
capitalism.
Yeah. So they're projecting that people will spend about $27.5 billion on Valentine's Day this year. And that would be second most spent on a Valentine's Day compared to 2020 was the next highest, and that was $27.4 billion. The last few years have taken
before
a little...
COVID, huh?
Yeah, which is odd. I thought that was kind of interesting considering...
We didn't know what was
I was
coming.
like, yeah, no, you didn't. Nobody had it. I mean, not really. There was, people saw it kind of coming in February, but March was really when it kind of took over in America and took its hold. But yeah, so then it took a dip, the last 2 years or so after that, 21, 23, 25 billion. And they're projecting it to be $27 billion in spending for this year on Valentine's Day. Do you want to take a stab at guessing the top 5 categories people spend on for Valentine's Day?
Flowers.
Flowers is the second top category.
Oh,
That is
dining.
40% of people
Dining.
will
Restaurants.
spend it on flowers. An evening out would be the fourth most popular, with 35% of people spending money on dining out.
Whoa. Chocolate.
I will give you that one. Chocolate and candy, kind of one category here, is the number one thing people will spend
killing
money
it
on.
Family Feud right now.
56% of people will buy candy for people that are buying Valentine's Day stuff at all. So two more to round out the top five.
And I have dining out,
You have dining out.
flowers, candy.
You have those. That is correct. So you're missing the number
Jewelry.
3 category is not jewelry. The number 5 is jewelry.
I'm killing it.
Being at 22% of people will buy jewelry for Valentine's Day. The average person will spend $186.54 on average for their Valentine's Day gifts. Now, it doesn't say that that's just one gift. That could be an accumulation of gifts, because a lot of people buy gifts for their parents. Also, the stats for this year say that around 30% of people will be buying gifts for friends, Valentine's Day gifts for friends, which is the highest percentage of people that reported buying Valentine's Day gifts for their friends. So that's
Women.
kind of it. He said women.
Valentine's Day has became a thing of its own. Is that today?
Hitting my tooth on the microphone like
Jesus.
a rebel. I guess. Is that Valentine's Day always the day before Thanksgiving? Is that the deal?
I'll look it up real quick.
I'll look it up real quick. Get producer Tony on that shit.
This is producer Nick. We fired Tony. He was
slow.
no, just cost efficient.
Oh, that too.
Valentine's Day is today. So happy
Yeah.
Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day.
To all you
I didn't get you anything.
Loser, lonely women.
Whoa, cat ladies. Is that what we call them? Is that what you're supposed to say?
It's like what is like the incel for women?
Oh, I heard a femcel. I heard somebody use that expression the other day. I don't know if I like it, but femcel.
Well, send us your best ideas for female incels. But I still have number 3 hanging on the board. But for Family Feud, I still have all 3 of my exes. So to give Steve Harvey his little moment to shine, I'll throw one out there. I don't think it is going to be, but he can be like, oh, you a little freak, huh? And that's going to be lingerie.
No, sir.
How would Steve say that? He would stop and he'd look at me. Oh, lingerie.
Huh? Let's see lingerie.
Ooh, you a little freaky there, huh?
So
Hey!
we're still looking for the number 3 most popular item for Valentine's Day to round out the top 5 categories.
Hotels.
No, I think that could be maybe within the evening out category.
I bet they do see a spike tomorrow.
Hotels? Sure.
Especially a Friday night.
Yeah. One of my first adult Valentine's Day gifts was the nice little hotel while me and Alyssa were still at Mizzou.
Ooh-wee.
Something like that.
Yeah,
The cat likes it. The cat's out here meowing at us.
Yeah. So, lingerie. Do you think there is a spike in the lingerie?
Yeah, this is the time of year the lingerie is made for.
Bow, bow,
People
bow.
buying sexy things, trying to be all sexy.
Feeling now, baby.
Greeting cards is what we were looking for.
Greeting
40%
cards.
of people will buy a greeting card.
It's all a scam.
Well, it's become that, just like a lot of holidays. But Valentine's Day is steeped in history, being the patron saint day of Valentine, St. Valentine. And it's been about love ever since, kind of.
What are your thoughts on Valentine's Day? Is it's cucked you?
Oh, I don't know. I think I generally agree with you. It's mostly a Hallmark holiday.
All of them have became that.
Yeah, all holidays kind of become that. But, it's nice to have a day that's just kind of set aside to, reminisce and and appreciate the people that you love and care the most about, and you know, give them a little something special. So there's something nice about that, but also don't tell me what the fuck to do. I'm gonna pick any day that I want to be a special day. So like,
yeah,
I'm on the fence.
Well, for Bob's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh,
33.
old ass man. I'm getting ready to retire if I'm a professional athlete, dude. Isn't that crazy? I was telling
LeBron James.
I was telling Jay just yesterday, I was like, I remember when I became an age that other people my age were becoming professional athletes, you know, like 19, 20 years old, and being like, oh man, there's professional athletes that are my age. That's pretty cool, but that's crazy. And now it's like I'm the age of these wily veterans, and it's like guys' careers are ending at my age. This is worse. Way worse.
Oh, yeah, dude. I remember, like, I think it's 30. One of my first thoughts was because, like, you know, Brendan and I have always big sports franchise guys in video games who like to start franchises and draft and all that stuff. And you do the fantasy draft at the beginning, and we do our best to stay away drafting players that were 30 years or over.
Said yikes.
So now when I hit that age, I was like, man, I'm too old for my former self to consider in a draft.
Brother.
And still currently. Like, when I'm doing a draft, I'm like, yikes.
No way I didn't even think about a 32, 33-year-old dude. It'd give me one decent year at best.
Overpaid.
No way. Overpaying him. Yep.
Get a young man in to do his job better and cheaper. But anyways.
So anyway,
but what do you
old.
think, though, tomorrow? But what I was going to ask, tying this into Valentine's Day, is your birthday comes with an expectation from society. I'm not saying you follow this, but you also are buying gifts on your birthday. According to society. Or the girl you date has to just be like, well, you know, Valentine's Day is never going to be about me.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's ended up being in a lot of relationships of mine. Is it's been about my birthday more than it's been about Valentine's Day. But that does usually it's the same thing. We end up going out to dinner or doing things.
It's a loophole for you.
It is because I'm not usually the one throwing down the money for it. So it's great.
So you kind of got lucky.
Yeah, it's kind of worked out in my favor in that regard.
What the fuck?
Everybody else has to do all these things for Valentine's Day, and I get to play the birthday card. It's like the Uno reverse, you know?
Yeah, I'm not celebrating this year. I did take my ex out last year, and we went to the hill and stuff, and that gets, like, 175. Like,
oh, you drinking?
Yeah, we was drinking.
Yeah.
But
man,
I mean, like,
it does.
it
gets expensive to go out to dinner these days.
And then there's like, if there's gift expectations and even a hotel, that you're looking at $700 sometimes.
Ooh,
I mean, my brother, he's
they're going to a whole other city.
Fucking Billy Warbucks going to
Billy
Branson,
Warbucks.
dude.
They better take in a show while they're there. I mean, golly, you drove 5-6 hours.
They're doing the Dixie Stampede. Or you can't say that anymore, just a Stampede, right?
I don't know, brother. We're going to have somebody go through our show and modify it to young people speak.
I did say unalive earlier, but...
You're so brave.
Well, no. Being brave would say kill myself.
No, you can't. That's not brave. It's brave to change your words to be better.
Oh, fucking...
All these pedophiles out there can't be talked about.
I just hope that the pedophiles don't unalive themselves and they can change it around.
Yeah, I guess.
You have to say that.
That's what you have to say. That's what you have to say.
Whoa. Okay, so.
Well, we're talking about Valentine's Day, and, most people are used to receiving nice messages for Valentine's Day.
I don't know where this is going.
Victorian era folks sometimes use Valentine's Day as like a way to turn down a suitor, and they would call those vinegar Valentines.
Damn,
Could you
dog.
imagine getting a Valentine that said, I am not interested in you?
Now they're going to have to bring back the unaliving yourself because that might have
received
been
a vinegar Valentine.
the number one day to unalive yourself might have been Valentine's Day for that period, right? Let's hear more about this. I'm all in.
Well, that was just a little factoid.
Can you imagine just your crush texting you and saying,
wow,
you're repulsive? I don't even think we could continue our friendship. You've made things awkward.
Here's a Valentine for you to say how much I don't want to be with you.
We need to bring that back, dude.
Yeah, I'm game. I think we should do that. Make a little business out of it. And
send somebody you know today that you've. My challenge for everybody tomorrow, or you're listening, it's today, or whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Next Valentine's Day, somebody that you think has the wrong idea, even if it's romantically, or maybe they think you're their friend, you don't want to be friends with them, send them that hard text.
Shit down. Remember, Valentine's Day is your day. If somebody feels a little confused about the feelings, you got to make that abundantly clear.
Whether it's romantically or platonically.
Yeah, I do not want to be friends with you. You know, we had a few good hangs, but it's just too much. I can't stand being around you.
It sounds like the
trailer for Friends, Friendship, Friends.
Yeah. Which the show's sponsored by.
We're sponsored by the new movie coming to theaters soon with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. It was really cool of them to hop on the show and be a sponsor for us. We really appreciate that, and we enjoy those guys' work. So go see Friends. I don't even know if the new movie's called Friendship or if it's just called Friends. So we're going to say Friendship. Thanks for the sponsorship.
But yeah, I like that.
The Vinegar Valentine?
Yeah.
More than 250 million roses are produced for Valentine's Day.
Produced? You mean grown? Produce, harvest?
Yeah. Produced. Yeah. You have to grow them and cut them and get them bitches ready to give away. Yeah, there's a production aspect to it. They don't just show up. Roses just don't happen. Red roses are the most popular? Does that surprise you? Probably not.
No, it does not. When you think of roses, you think of red. I know there's other colors, yellow, pink.
Red rose.
Every rose does have a thorn, poison.
What do you know about red wine?
I don't know where this is going, but
I was singing the song.
Red
wine.
I prefer whites.
Ooh, you wouldn't be the first one to say that in this day and age, I think.
Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Well, we're just kind of talking about the world and how people are viewing it, and some people would like to say that they prefer the whites. Not us. We're not those people. But some people are saying that more proudly than they have in a lot of years.
What the fuck is happening?
It's been derailed. I'm just calling it like I see it. So I guess we should talk about Valentine's Day some more.
We might have to edit that part out, and this is a no-edit podcast.
Why?
It can be twisted into your thoughts.
No. Because I clearly said that it wasn't my thoughts.
All right, back to Valentine's Day.
You said it.
All right, so Vinegar Valentines, I think, should be replacing this one here in the next few years.
Yeah. Replacing it? What do you mean replacing it?
No more celebrating Valentine's Day.
Oh, so any Valentine's given will just be a Vinegar Valentine?
Wasn't that what the premise was in the Victorian era?
No.
There wasn't both being celebrated, was there?
Yeah. It was saying while mostly it was nice messages that during the Victorian era, people would use Valentines to turn down a suitor. And that's what's called the Vinegar Valentine.
I want to. Is there any of these messages posted?
I don't know.
Nice show prep, ass.
Maybe. Oh, here we go. So here is from 1840. And it's like an old school little card. It's got the lady on it, and she's throwing a glove because it's kind of like one of those, you offer the glove to somebody. So she's throwing it to the ground. So here we go. It says, you ask to see me home, kind sir. I thank you, but decline. One bow is quite enough for me. I'm satisfied with mine. You need not sit upon the fence to see me going by. I cannot give you such a chance. There now, dear me, don't cry.
Not as vicious as I would have liked it, but
scathing.
But it sounds like Valentine's Day can be a day of rivals. And do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, I'm just reading some of these other ones down the road, trying to see if there's any other good of these quick little.
But as we've talked about this day of love and rivals,
Love.
What other thing has so much love and hatred all encompassed in one day? And I'll tell you, that is a sports rivalry. Ooh. You have passion, you have love, and you have hate for the opposition. And there is a few teams, as we covered in our last podcast together, that had all those things tied in one. Yes. So what sport are we covering today?
Ooh, some are wondering. They're on bated breath. They're taking on the edge of the
seat. We love history on this podcast, and what is more historical than any other thing that we haven't covered yet, and that would be the Americans' pastime.
America's pastime.
And obviously, I will acknowledge that soccer has more history, but we're not doing that today. We are doing America's...
We are talking about baseball.
We're talking baseball.
Shouts out to Brendan Butler. He wanted to hear baseball, and we agreed. We agreed that that'd be a good rabbit hole to jump into next.
Clip that off.
Best rivalries in baseball.
All right, so to kick things off, who would you say? Again, we are doing this collectively.
Your consensus. The
consensus rivals.
And this was pretty simple. There was a couple maybe that could be argued for outside of what we kind of picked. But, it seems as though a lot of the large rivalries in baseball are generally agreed upon.
More so than college football.
Yeah. I'd say so. Well, there's also less to choose from, being as there's only, 30 teams or whatever now. And there was even less than that.
And if we go through this and there's a rivalry we missed, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
We don't care.
This is our list. Suck it.
Record your own fucking podcast and do your own fucking list, and I'll chime in. No, I'm kidding. If there is other rivalry...
you went back on that quick.
Well, no, I always love to hear the thought, but I don't really think there's anything that is left off. We didn't want to double team it.
No,
we didn't. By that I mean we are double teaming the list, but we did not want to have a team
we didn't
on there
want to
twice.
have a team that was also rivals with somebody else and have their rivalry on here. So our first one we went with was a classic when everybody thinks baseball rivalries, and that is the Yankees and Red Sox.
Ooh,
rivalry.
Tell me about that rivalry.
So the first time these teams met was in 1903, and they played in Boston, Massachusetts.
I was just a little wee lad in 1903.
Just a wee lad. Just a wee lad.
People were getting their news about it back then via the Paperboy.
The Yankees hold the Yankees hold the advantage in the matchup, winning about 1,257 games to the 1,440 games.
That math breaks down to about 55% of the games the Yankees have won.
Yep. That's a 547 percentage.
Well, there hasn't really been a pivotal moment in this rivalry that took a turn, has there?
Well, it's interesting you say that. There was a player known as the Great Bambino, Babe Ruth. Some people might have heard of him.
Fucking Ruth.
So the two cities already had obviously a lot of rivalries with each other going back as long as the American Revolution, just because New York and Boston were kind of the first great cities of America, including the brotherly love city we talked about earlier, Philly. But Boston and New York were popular for different reasons. New York was kind of the economic center of America, and Boston was kind of the arts and culture center of America at the time.
That's taking a turn, huh?
It's taking a little bit of a turn, but there's still... Boston's got MIT, New York's got things.
TOU.
It's the OU.
MIT.
So early on, the rivalry was stoked by Babe Ruth, who would kind of become known as the greatest baseball player, if not one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Was traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees in 1919 when the owner of the Red Sox, who was a producer of Broadway plays, needed some money to get a production of a play going. So he made a deal with the Yankees to send Babe Ruth to them, and he got cash back. and a cash loan advance on Fenway Park. He used Fenway Park as collateral for that loan. He was able to get all of his money back and some because the play was successful. But I think a lot of baseball fans would say that the Red Sox got the short end of that deal. Because after that,
ramifications long term, what the franchises are both worth, he cost his great grandkids a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
If they even still have it. I mean, I don't know how many times the ownership has changed hands
from that time. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that information is not available. But after that trade happened, there was an 84-year period where the Yankees won 26 World Series championships.
Wow. Well, the Red Sox probably won a few.
Well, the Red Sox won 4 pennants, and none of those turned into a World Series win. So that time period became known as the Curse of the Bambino. But after that,
can you imagine though? Just before we move on,
yeah.
Your city's biggest rival. Baseball back then is as big as football is now, if not bigger.
Right.
And you have Babe Ruth, who set the record with what you said, 29 homers in a season.
Yes.
And you trade him across town,
a different city. But yeah.
Different city to fund a fucking play. Can you imagine the outrage?
That's probably what the Mavs were doing, dude. That's why they traded Luka. They said we need to get some money for our play. Right? Wasn't that the deal?
Yeah, no, we discussed that trade last episode, and I don't think there was a play involved, but this is just, it's absolutely nuts that this happened. And I mean, we're over 100 years removed from it, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was big happenings. Big happenings. And then
fast forward into so towards the end of that, what I wanted to touch on this is 2003 ALCS. The Yankees and Red Sox played, and there was a big brawl where 72-year-old Don Zimmer trotted his ass out there and got promptly tossed to the ground by ace pitcher Pedro Martinez, in which the clip still, I watched it before here, it always cracks me up.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, what was he thinking?
Ramirez was fined $25,000 for that.
Martinez
was fined. I'm just reading the different fines. There was a Ramirez that was fined.
Oh, Manny
was fined $25,000. And then Martinez was fined $50,000.
So I want to say in my lifetime, that's when I can remember.
But Zimmer was also fined $5,000.
Well, yes, stay in your home, old man. I'll be the first to say it, dude.
Don't make us teach you this lesson again, old man.
It's just so fucking fun. If you haven't seen it, just look up Don Zimmer. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to empathize with the guy or sympathize with him, and, maybe that's the right thing, but what was he doing?
But some would say that brawl kind of kickstarted the Red Sox moving in a different direction. It kind of spitballed to them then breaking the curse the next postseason.
Not at the beginning. It did not look like that.
It didn't look like it at all. That was the year that the Yankees were beating the Red Sox 3-0 in the series, and the Red Sox came back to win that series, the ALCS, and go to the World Series to then kick the Cardinals' ass.
The bloody sock.
The old bloody sock. And that was the first time that any team in Major League Baseball had come back from a 3-0 series deficit. That's what I'm looking for. Thanks.
Yep.
And that really ignited that, renewed that rivalry more than it already was.
And since then, the Red Sox have won more World Series than
the
Yankees. I think 1-3, 1-4 maybe.
That's right.
But overall, when you think of baseball rivalries, you don't need to think much further than the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yep, that's a classic one. So, second, we're going to talk about two teams that started off in New York and then moved across the country midway through their rivalry, and that would be the Dodgers versus the Giants.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's a
Wow,
fun
that's
rivalry.
great. So these two teams first played each other in 1889, and that was in Brooklyn, New York.
And that was the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, correct?
At the time, they were called the Brooklyn. Oh gosh, it was the Bride somethings. I had.
The Bridegrooms.
The Bridegrooms before they were ever the Brooklyn Dodgers. So when they first played, they were the Bridegrooms versus the Giants.
What a stupid fucking name.
What a stupid fucking name. I agree. Pretty dumb. So those two teams were rivals in Brooklyn originally. And then in the 50s, they moved. The Dodgers moved first and then convinced the Giants to move to California when originally the Giants were talking about moving to Minnesota. So after the teams moved, the rivalry was still in place, and they remained, rivals.
Yeah, and too, like, even as much as recently, over the past, I guess, 15 years or so, it's been two of the biggest powerhouses in the MLB. They're both in the same state. Even as recently as, what was it, like 3 years ago, the Giants won 105 games, and the Dodgers won 103. That's when the Cardinals. So the Dodgers didn't even win their division. That's when the Cardinals had to play them. Remember in that wild card game that was 0-0, and Alex Reyes got walked off by Chris Taylor. But Giants Dodgers. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's West Coast.
It's a close series. Giants are leading only by 5 wins. They have
that's crazy.
1,286 wins to 1,282 losses. 17 ties.
The Giants are winning that right now?
Yes.
That will be changed this year.
Yeah, a lot of that wins came in the New York years. So, in the 1900s to 1950s. 1951, there was a famous brawl with led to a guy being hit twice with a bat.
We need more of that. Slugfest.
Players beating players with bats.
You would turn the TV on, wouldn't you?
I'd turn the TV on, opposite of Kendrick. Yes, sir.
Turn the TV on. Turn the TV on.
Players be hitting with bats.
Now, nobody was murdered, right?
Not on the field.
Oh.
But there's fan violence, stories going back all the way to 2003. A guy was stabbed in the parking lot of a Dodgers game between the Giants and Dodgers.
That checks out.
Yeah. Yep. And then there was an opening day stabbing in 2009 for the Dodgers home opener.
I wish we could get more into that. What were they arguing about?
I don't know.
What point of a rivalry turns into
it just says after the game,
attempt?
Alvarez and the other man, a Dodgers fan, began quarreling in the stadium parking lot. Alvarez stabbed a 30-year-old victim several times.
Damn, he killed him?
This one was attempted murder.
Damn, weak-ass knife, huh? Weak-ass knife.
Damn, there's a big old long story from this 2011 one.
And, we encourage everybody to go read that if they want to. Because
Now, 2013, Jonathan Denver was killed outside of San Francisco.
John Denver?
Jonathan Denver.
Boy, took them country roads, dude. He took them country roads to Merkville.
Oh, no.
Damn. Take me home.
It just says the victim was attacked when a Dodgers fan... Oh, the victim of the attack was a Dodgers fan and was wearing Dodgers gear. I don't know. It doesn't say why they got...
I don't think he was just innocently standing there and got pieced up, Yeah,
it says a San Francisco man claiming self-defense stabbed a Dodgers fan to death 6 blocks away from the park.
See, well, of course you're going to claim self-defense.
I had to kill him. He was going to kill me.
Jesus.
So there's a little bit of little violence between that rivalry And there was some of that also in the Yankees and Red Sox one. I didn't get into the specifics.
I mean, that's gone without saying. Boston and New York.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's
It
what you're
says
gonna get. With
later in
those.
2008, a man driving a car with New York license plates in Massachusetts was pulled from his car and savagely beaten because locals suspected the man of being a Yankees fan.
Holy shit!
Yeah. And then during the final series of 2010, Boston police arrested a Yankees fan for stabbing a Red Sox fan over an argument about the rivalry. So, little beatings and stabbings.
Not that I want to watch a murder, but I want to see like what led up to that. Like at what point we're like too fucking far. Pull out your switchblade and just shank a motherfucker.
The Yankees don't suck. Yeah.
Damn, dude. You think he even gets to watch TV in prison? Like, you can't even watch the Yankees. Like,
that'd be part of the sentence, dude. You can't watch another Yankees game. Wouldn't that be? That'd be the worst sentence.
You can't emotionally handle it.
Yeah, clearly you're unregulated.
That could be me one day. Not the murder, but
not the murder part, just the unregulated part.
Now we have a little fun one.
Ooh,
we'll change up.
Yeah, what is?
A little Pedro Martinez change up. And this next rivalry it's going to be a menage a trois, as you worded it.
Yeah, a menage a trois of rivalries.
And that is the NL East. Loads and tons of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going with the Phillies, Braves, Mets three-way rivalry.
Yep. It's a little different kind of take here, but I think that the three-way rivalry here is just as intense between all of these teams. So I think it only is right to mention all of them. It's hard to isolate it to just two teams.
Yeah, and we don't have to dive too deep in the history because I think the last 25 years and probably prior to that, it's largely been dominated by the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
They were winning pennant after pennant after pennant after pennant. Rinse, wash, repeat. But as of late, these three teams have all entered win now type modes. Right. They're all very close, as we've mentioned already. Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta, not really close.
Not as geographically close.
But they've been dominating so long. The hatred's there.
And they've been in the same division for a while now. At least 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what, even going into this offseason, the Mets get Juan Soto to kind of enter that conversation because Phillies Braves have both been, eyes on the prize as far as the NL goes.
Yeah. It was Mets and the Phillies for a lot of those early 2000s on the team that was, competing to be dominant in the National League.
Yeah, they both kind of stepped up after the Braves' big run of the 90s and that Bobby Cox era came to an end. Those two stepped in, and so it's like I said, not enough. I didn't, want to. It's been such extensive research to do all three of these, but it's fun. Like, it is definitely a game outside of a Cardinals game that if any of those combination of teams are playing, I think it's fun to sit down and watch.
Yeah, yeah.
There's usually big playoff implications and all kinds of fun stuff. And like I said, there's superstars. You got Acuna, you got Harper, you got Juan Soto in the mix now. I mean, come on. Make baseball great again.
Yeah. Make baseball great again.
And any one of those three teams is going to have an uphill battle to beat the Dodgers, but, that's what's going to make these playoffs fun.
The Doyers.
And last.
Oh, yeah, but not certainly least.
We're going with the Reds and Astros.
Oh!
Psych, boy. You thought we were going to
you serious? We ain't serious about that shit. That's crazy.
That's the Cardinals Cubs.
You already know. So the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry, also known as the Route 66 rivalry or I-55 rivalry. A lot of little weird names for it over the years.
Highways. Cool.
So this rivalry, these two teams first met each other in 1885 in Chicago, and that was versus the Cubs and the St. Louis Browns at the time, later to become the Cardinals.
Yeah. But what can you say? There's so much to say about this rivalry. The Cubs actually have the winning record of lifetime, but they did a lot of that in the beginning when it was like playing guys with nicknames like Corky Corkerson and shit like that.
Yeah. Old Beer McStoffson.
Yeah. John Too Small Jones.
Yep. Jimmy the Batter Hayes. I don't know.
Yeah, good one.
Nailed it.
I mean,
the Cubs have a little bit of an edge in the all-time series, but like you were saying, that's mostly early history.
but if you put a postseason success, the Cardinals absolutely wipe the fucking floor with them. And I mean, just absolutely wipe the floor with those pathetic fucking losers.
It's true.
I mean, I don't even. Al Capone came and went, didn't see any fucking World Series there. The Cubs suck, always have sucked. They say it's a friendly rivalry. I guess it's easy to be friendly. There's no animosity with a team that you just stomp all over and then just wipe the floor with. It's gosh. Mm-hmm. It's a great rivalry to be a part of.
It's true. So it was 1908 when the Cubs won the championship, and that was the last one that they would win until 2016, and they didn't even get another pennant win until 1945, and that was their last pennant win. And then the Cardinals got their first pennant win in 1926 to then have 11 World Series titles in that time period. So there was a large period of time where the Cubs were just dog shit.
And back to being dog shit.
And now they're back to being dog shit.
So,
but there was also the McGuire and Sosa home run chase in '98 that kind of kept the rivalry. You know, brought it into the modern era, if you will. It brought baseball back too. Big moment in time.
So Cardinals Cubs like that. That's I think why a lot of these lists. Usually you see it being dominated by these East Coast teams, but this was consensus top 3 rivalry in baseball amongst a lot of the lists that I was looking at. And I think that's because during the 98 race, what made baseball reach those heights again is because a lot of those games were being nationally broadcast. So kind of cool there. And once again, the Cardinal did win.
Yeah. And those regional broadcasts, the Cardinals being on KMOX and the Cubs being broadcast on WGN, those were 2 booming signals through the Midwest, and so there was kind of that territorial battle over Central Illinois and Indiana fans on which team, would be able to get those fans to be fans of their team.
Yeah, and that's a large part of KMOX's reach is a large part why the Cardinals have such a wide fan base. There's a lot of Cardinals fans in Oklahoma and Nebraska and northern Texas and, like you said, Iowa. And the Cubs were also competing with all those teams. So it was for quite a bit. And it stems to today. All those states that we just named have Cubs and Cardinals fans, sometimes splitting down through the family. And even in Ozark, the show Ozark, they made a lot of references to that rivalry because Marty was from Chicago and
Marty.
Ozark, obviously, Cardinals territory. And there was a point in the show where one of the guys said, "I was raised to hate the Cubs," and Marty says, "I was raised to hate the Cardinals." So it's made its way into pop culture, and obviously Ozark's is a huge successful show, and they even touched base on that rivalry there.
Yeah, and a lot of, the St. Louis-Chicago rivalries, a lot of those stemmed from the early 1900s when St. Louis was more of a competitive market city versus Chicago, but modern history hasn't been as nice to St. Louis, and so a lot of Chicago folks don't really view St. Louis as a equal rival these days as maybe they once did. And so that's a shame, but that's for other economic reasons and things like that.
And this trade I'm going to mention is not to the levels of the Great Bambino, but in 1964, the Cubs traded Lou Brock to the St. Louis Cardinals for Ernie Broglio and some other players that weren't Lou Brock.
Bag of balls.
Yeah. And so, obviously, once again, the Cardinals were on the right side of that trade.
Useful.
And just crazy, you don't really see that anymore. And I think it's just because of instances like that. You do not see players
traded
of that stature being traded to their
in division or rivals, any of that. No, if a team is getting separating themselves from a large, caliber player as far as, their abilities at their talent level. They'd ship that player to a team on another division in another league. You try to get that player as far away from your team as you can, because there's a lot of stories in history of it coming back to bite, your team later on. So good job on being on the right side of that one, Cardinals.
Yeah, so right now we're kind of in a stagnant place. Both teams are kind of on the outside looking in of this gentleman's club that is.
The NL Central sucks.
Gosh.
Not a good division. Not a great division.
No, but, it gives it's exciting in the way that nobody really has World Series expectations,
right?
But it keeps all the fan bases in throughout the season because you never know. Everybody's kind of like, we can make the playoffs, we can get hot, and we can win this, baby.
We could just get hot. We could win this, baby.
So that's going to wrap up.
We got the Yankees and the Red Sox. We got the Giants and the Dodgers. We got the Mets, Phillies, Braves in a little menage a trois rivalry. And the Cardinals and the Cubs to fill out the Mount Rushmore of baseball rivalries. I feel pretty good about that. If anybody else has got any differing opinions or views on that Mount Rushmore, let us know which ones we miss and why they should be on the top 4.
Yeah, so I think overall that pretty much covers everything.
We didn't get any tales from the servers table this week. Let me get your best story and the worst story of the week. I enjoyed that. We got to talk about the lady being a big fat cunt last time. I don't know what she was
Tales
fat.
from the servers table. I will say, good story.
Yeah.
Friday last Thursday.
Thursday night.
Yeah, so I was a double trying to, make some extra moolah before your bachelor party. And we're about to wrap it up. I'm about to be cut. And then they're like, Nick, you have a 15 top coming in your section. Which I wasn't mad about.
Sure, but, to flip your mind from, I'm about to be cut to, no.
Yeah, so that did kind of suck. But right away, I could kind of read that these girls, which was a birthday party of some sort, I later found out was the 27th, had really good energy. And they came to drink. They were all dressed up in different costumes. Yeah, no, like costumes. It was weird. I never seen birthdays being celebrated wearing like Halloween costumes. But
I did. I played a gig earlier this year. I told you it was a Tom party. They were having a birthday party for a fella named Tom, and so all of his friends dressed up as different famous Toms, whether it be Tom Cruise. Or there was one of the guys was dressed up as Tom something from Lord of the Rings. I guess there's a Lord of the Rings character that's named Tom something. Anyway, dressing up for birthdays.
Yeah, I didn't really never gather the theme, but these young ladies were full of good energy. They seemed to like the energy and vibe that I was giving off.
We like you.
Yeah, they did. Well, they said love, which I always feel weird.
You.
Yeah, they're like, "We'll love you, Nick," and it's like, "I love your vibe." I say, "I love your vibe too." I'm not gonna say you don't know me because
I know.
But it's always weird when they say, "But the drinks are flowing," but anyways. End up making $160 off them. They all were in the industry themselves. So
they know what's up. Everybody was taking care.
That's a jackpot.
Very good. That's a good story. A little 27th birthday.
Negative stories this week. I mean, I'd be glad to report that nothing sticks out on the top of my mind. People have been
they're coming around.
Yeah. So I'm not going to force a negative story when there is none to.
Yeah, no. I'm not looking for you to make up anything. I don't need fairy tales from the service table. No, I need tales from the service table.
People have been quite pleasant.
Ooh, that's nice.
So thank you, patrons of DePair, and
we look forward to seeing you this week when you come in for your Valentine's Day dinner.
Yeah, tomorrow. If you have no plans and you're listening to this, come in and see me. I'll be at Rosalita's all day.
How long of a wait? They take resis on Valentine's Day.
Just text me. We'll get you in. We'll
make it work.
Dude. Yeah, dude. I'll pull some strings.
He knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
Come in and see me. We'll hook it up and
come up and see me sometime.
As always, love you guys.
Yeah.
Have a happy Valentine's Day, and text that person you can't fucking stand and let them know why.
Yeah, say, you don't have a chance, and here's why. Send him a vinegar Valentine.
Or her.
Or send him or her or them a Valentine that's vinegar made.